Okay, I call this meeting of the Guam Election Commission to order. It is Thursday, September 18th. It's 5:30 p.m. We are located here at the GEC Conference Room, Oka Building here in Tamuning. We're also live stream at the GEC website at www.gec.guam.gov/board. Quorum is present. Myself, Jerry Crisosimo, Chairman, Vice Chairman Joe Mofnas, Commissioner Ricky Orsini, Commissioner Benny Panala, Commissioner Pat Seville will be joining us shortly. Excuse absence tonight is Commissioner Tony Gamatauta and Commissioner Carissa Pangilinan. Certification of public notice requirements. The notice of the meeting was published on the Guam Daily Post and the Guam Public Notice website. Approval of agenda. You have the agenda in front of you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I make a motion, Mr. Chair, to approve the agenda as presented.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Orsini, second by Commissioner Panala. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Moving on to the approval of minutes of August 21st meeting, regular meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of August 21st, subject to any corrections?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Panala. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Orsini. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Okay, number 5, let's move to correspondence. Maria?
None, sir.
Okay, no correspondence. The Executive Director's report then? Item A.
On page 10 is the timeline. Starting on page 10. And to add on to the timeline, sir, we were just invited yesterday to a public hearing on September 26th for the 3 bills that have been introduced with regard to the AAA process.
Okay, any questions, comments?
Maria, I just got a few comments in reference to the timeline. I don't know whether I'm off track on this, but looking at your timeline, it says July 2nd is the homebound voting, right? Is that also the start of the early vote?
No. The early vote would be like about the 3 weeks before, and we'll do it for 2 weeks.
We'll see.
So we won't, that will be, you'll approve that as we get closer.
Also, the thing that I was looking at the timeline also doesn't specify when's the last day to register for the primary election.
Okay, sir, because if you remember that there's a bill up that says to change it from the volunteer voter registrars from 45 days to 21 days. That's one of the bills that's up for. So that hasn't been, that's still at the legislature.
So maybe maybe for October, if whatever. I'd like to see that thing in the timeline, if you don't mind.
Sir, July 10, 2026 is the last day for volunteer voter registration. That it says there on.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Okay,
so that's the last day to register also?
No.
Okay.
It'll be, yeah, we'll add it as soon, we'll add it when the bill comes and gets enacted into law. Because right now, I believe it should be 15 days, 15 days before the election.
So that will be incorporated as soon as the bill is passed?
Yeah.
As soon as it becomes public law?
Yes.
Do we know how long is that going to take?
Senator Tello said about November of this year.
For the public law, and the primary is on August 1st?
November of this year.
Oh, November of this year?
Of this year.
Okay.
This year.
Yeah.
Next year is the primary.
Okay. Stand corrected. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Any further questions, comments? Yeah, Commissioner Orsini?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At least maybe in my packet, it looks like the bill cut off. I'm only seeing a page 2 for the bill 189. Did it? Okay.
But it was exactly what we submitted to them.
Okay.
So those, Commissioner Ricky, those were sent, if you remember, though, all those, we had, even one, the election manual was hand-delivered to all of you. And then when we had submitted it for the AAA process. And so it went through both the governor and the attorney general. And so now it's at the legislature.
Okay. Any further discussions? Okay, you want to move to the motor voter by precinct report? Which is page 27?
Yes, so we have we have the voter by precinct, and we're at 52,000 voters, 52,234 as of August 25th. And our motor voter, we added, from our motor voter, we had added for up to August 25th, we had 287 ads. And then on page 20 are our voter registrars. So as of September 16th, on Tuesday, we had 51. We didn't train anyone last night, but we've trained 2 today.
So what's the total?
53 now, after today. So this one is as of Tuesday. Then yesterday, this afternoon, we trained 2 more.
Okay. Okay, any questions or comments on that? Okay, the financial?
So our financials start on page 21. It looks like we're still good, and the bill as it was passed by the legislature shows that we're all our funds that we have from the prior fiscal years that are still active, they're all going to be continuing. But the budget bill has not been acted on yet at the legislature. But that's what it's looking like. So we're still awaiting. We have our establishment of accounts ready for processing, but we cannot send that out yet for October 1st until we get a public law number.
Okay. Yeah, Commissioner Moffitt?
Yeah, I just have a couple questions here. First of all, it's always been we don't have any outstanding balance, right? To pay vendors out? We're all good at that?
Yes, we are.
So no outstanding balance?
None
Okay.
now.
Next question I was looking on page 26. I'm just wondering, it says the vehicle truck rental, right? And you have homebound service, and then going down the line on number 4, you have another homebound services. So what's the difference between those two? Because you spend, I guess, $5,050 for the first one, and on the second one, you got $15,621. So I'm just curious about the homebound. On the first one, what does it curtail, though?
Okay, the homebound services, those are the stipends we pay, the 15,000. The 15,000, the homebound services,
Yeah.
those are the stipends we pay for our homebound representatives.
So maybe you should put a footnote on that so I know what it is.
Okay, will
I'm
do,
sorry to
sir.
say that. That's only me, though.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's not another car.
Thank you.
Okay, any further questions, comments on that? Let's move to the legislative bills. These are the 3, right?
Mhm.
That's on page 30?
Yes.
30.
So those are the bills. Let's see. Yeah, 30.
Page 20.
Go to page 20. Which one is this? Oh, yeah, this one is this one is to change, if you remember, sir, we were talking about, they picked up the 45 days, so this bill is to make it back to 21 days.
This has not been heard yet? I'm
No.
sorry. Not yet?
No, it was just introduced, yeah, we just picked it up on September 5th, so it hasn't, yeah, it's just been introduced.
So my next question is, all this bill, it's going to be public hearing at the same time or different time?
No, this one,
No, because you have 3 other bills that are
yeah,
pending.
so this one, according to Senator Tello's office, this one will probably be in the November session.
Does that give you enough time to?
Yes, because this is for next year's,
Yeah, I understand, but
Yeah.
next year is just around the corner.
yes. So when if you remember, they passed the law that showed that it was for 45 days. So when we asked the senator, how can we change it to bring it back to 21 days? So Senator immediately introduced the bill. And so, but she said that it's probably going to only be in the November session.
And the other bill is no time frame yet?
The other bills, sir, those are going, the public hearing is already on September 26th. That one is the election manual, the Chapter 17, the campaign finance reporting requirements, and they put it in a separate bill, all the attachments to the both the campaign finance and the election manual. The attachments they put on a separate bill.
Are we invited to testify or?
September 26th.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah, that's a Friday. Okay, any further comments or questions on the bills? Any 3? Okay, you want to move to the election campaign finance?
Sir, nothing to report on the campaign finance, except that the AAA process is toward
Still
the,
underway,
yeah.
Okay, is that all? Executive Director's report?
So we've gone through the executive director's report. We're now at the old business on the, right? Yeah, modernizing Guam's election. So we have the invitation for bid. We had sent it out as part of the packet.
Right.
The subcommittee had reviewed it already, and they had made their comments. So Jack put in all their comments. We've had our legal counsel review it. So it's looking for the approval of the commission.
This is for the electronic poll book, so you're going to need a motion to approve this, right?
Were the changes made that I sent you?
We, thank you for bringing that up. So our legal counsel looked at it, and so he has a few changes. We'll incorporate those changes. We'll make sure we incorporate the changes that the legal counsel made.
Any questions? discussions on the invitation to bid.
The changes. Can you tell them what the changes are?
What's the time frame to issue and due date?
With your approval, Jack, Monday. We'll issue it on Monday.
Once it's approved?
Once we approve it tonight, then they can issue it Monday.
So just to make sure that, just to let you know, I've asked the legal counsel to talk about the changes he made to the bid, IFB.
Yeah.
So one of the issues, or one of the terms in the IFB, was a 9-year, multi-year contract term. And so I just wanted to ensure that there's a provision in there that complies with the other section of the procurement code, which is 5237, which permits the multi-year contracting. Because if you remember, we need to just put foolproof language in there that any procurement is still subject to availability of funds, and that if that appropriation is not made, notwithstanding the 9-year contract period, that it cannot be funded, and therefore it won't force the GEC to be put in a situation where, you know, it would they would not be able to pay under the contract term. So it's just to clarify that if funds are available, then the contract will proceed within the 9-year period. If not, then there will be a termination of convenience, right, for the benefit of the government. And then because it's going to be a multi-year contract, more than 5 years at least, we want some kind of written determination in the procurement record that explains why it's going beyond the 1 year. Because we're buying a product, so we're not necessarily buying a service. And so when you're buying a product, why do you have to have a 9-year contract when once you get the product, it's yours, right? Unless there's a service contract. So that's just clarification in the RFP for that.
Okay, any
The
questions?
The other provision is there's no discussion in the IFB regarding a price escalation. And so the contract's going to be for 9 years. I'm not sure if you're going to get bidders wanting to bid if they can't adjust price over 3 years, 5 years. Instead, they're locked in for a 9-year period. So that's just an issue to look at, not necessarily to change anything. There's also a requirement in here to provide 2 samples, which maybe some bidders will not be able to accommodate. And so just to be concerned about that could create undue restriction on competition. The bid bond and security, it just needs to make sure that, I think right now you're requiring a 15% security bond, and I think the law is 10, so you're good with that. The other issue is the all or nothing provision. There's no legal requirement that requires that, but just know that on a practical note, the best procurement practice and protest defense is to prepare a written determination as to why it's all or nothing. That's all. So at least it's in the procurement file in your acquisition planning provision there. There's been a lot of litigation surrounding preferences, whether it's local, small business, women-owned. So I looked through the IFB, and it doesn't state a formula in there in terms of what someone who meets the qualifications for those preferences would get. And so I know there are several cases right now that are being appealed and protested because the RFPs or the IFBs don't specifically provide the guidance to the bidders as to what advantages they would get and how it's applied across the board. Okay, so there's also missing clauses with regard to termination for default and termination for convenience. So they're in there generically with what is generally in the government packet, the general provisions of the government. But I think we need to be more specific so that we make it to GEC's advantage if they need to terminate for default or for convenience. And I provided examples for them to put in the IFB. The other thing is, and this is a big issue across every jurisdiction, is the data and cybersecurity provision of all the data that's going to be loaded or enter through the equipment. So there's a potential risk that it may violate the Guam privacy. So, you know, we just passed a law that you can't leave out names, addresses, phone numbers for the voters at the polling sites, right? So if the poll books would have this information, is there any security measures within that so that if someone obtains that device, there is some type of security measures that don't allow them to so at a minimum, just add data security requirements for such as encryption, access control, breach notification, and disaster recovery plans. That should be part of the package when we purchase this. And that's pretty much just the concerns. Other than that, the RFP is pretty sound. It's just a matter of shoring up these specific issues.
Okay, any questions, comments, or discussions? So we need a motion to,
We're just shoring up the provisions. And then I provided the language.
the language is on there.
If you want to give them
Okay, so we need a motion to approve the invitation to bid, GEC 25-01, regarding the electronic poll books. Is there a motion by Commissioner Seville? Is there a second to the motion? Second by Commissioner
To include legal counsel's
Changes.
changes. Thank you.
So the motion is to approve the invitation to bid with the recommendation to approve legal counsel changes to it. There's a motion by Commissioner Seville. Is there a second? Commissioner Orsini, second. Any further discussion? So all those in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Okay, the bid is approved. We're going to the fiscal 26 budget.
So we're waiting for the action of the legislature, and that hasn't happened. So it was vetoed by the governor, and we're waiting to see what the legislature will do about it.
Okay.
The whole government of Guam is waiting, so that's all we're doing. We have our, we've already put together our establishment of accounts. Typically, that goes in as soon as the budget is passed, and so to make sure that it's ready for us October 1. So we're just waiting. We've been talking to Department of Administration, Accounting,
Okay. Okay, any discussions, questions? Okay, the next item is the Executive Director's Performance Evaluation, and followed by the executive session, but because we're missing Commissioner Gumatauto and Commissioner Pangilinan, we'll hold that off until until we get a full commission. Just to know, this is going on a year and 3 months since we introduced this last year. So we'll need to wrap it up, hopefully the next meeting.
Next meeting.
Yep. Okay, moving on to new business, legal counsel.
Mr. Chair, so with regards to the Guam Society of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, there's no further update from the last meeting. I'm not sure what executive order.
So we, yeah, say it again?
I think,
When that counted absentee ballot.
The only one that's not, that that the Guam code is not in line with that presidential executive order is when we count what absentee ballots we're going to count. So
do we get the response from FEC?
none.
No.
Yeah, because of all the
Yeah.
yeah,
The
so
lawsuits
nothing,
coming.
nothing,
Yeah.
yeah, nothing yet. So our law says that we continue to count, we continue to receive ballots up until 10 work days after the election. But yeah,
The executive order says no.
no, yeah, it's just
It
up
ends on
until 8
election day.
o'clock on election day.
Wait a minute, so who are we following?
Right now, we're following the Guam
The
code.
Guam law.
Good, okay.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure you've heard of the new lawsuit, McNinch versus Guam and the Honorable Leon Guerrero. GEC was not named in that lawsuit, and so I haven't really had a chance to look at that and see what that it could mean to GEC. So probably by the next meeting, I will have a summary and then brief you on what's happening there.
Okay.
I don't have anything else, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Orsini?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to clarify, going back, the Executive Order 1424-8, is that still under federal court injunction?
Yeah, so there are certain provisions of
Okay.
that that's stayed
Okay,
at this point.
got it. Thank you.
Okay, any, no other business on legal counsel? We'll move to public comment.
Is this available online as a recording also?
Yes.
And it is recorded.
Yeah,
I just didn't know if I should record. Thank
yeah, just state your name and then.
you. Okay. And thank you very much, Commissioners. My name is Ron McNinch, and I am an elected official, former Guam Election Commission board member, and also a future candidate. I'd like to thank the Commission for allowing me to talk today, and I've worked with Ms. Pangilinan quite often, and I certainly appreciate all of her professional support, and I have a lot of respect for the staff here. On August 22nd, I filed a lawsuit in federal law just regarding the way the Guam law is written. I'm going to amend that suit, and I will certainly provide the Commission with the amendment as well as other filings that I do just as a courtesy. The lawsuit does not involve the Guam Election Commission. It's simply an issue I have with Guam laws. Let's see here. Also, I've provided in my pleadings the opportunity, if it goes that far, to allow the parties or anyone else, including the Guam Election Commission, to provide amicus briefs if desired, just to allow the Commission to give input. The reasons I filed this suit basically are I'm questioning the plain meaning of what's called a general election. I did research on the U.S. Virgin Islands. The U.S. Virgin Islands has a great contrast election commission case for Guam to consider, as well as our election statistics. I'm concerned about party rating that happens sometimes at our primaries here. And also, I'm deeply concerned about Voting Rights Act concerns related to how minorities in particular are allowed or not allowed to participate directly or indirectly in our elections. To date, there's been no response from the governor's office relating to the points that I've coordinated with them on, and no response from the legislature. I would kindly suggest, and at the right point, that the Guam Election Commission, or even the political party members also present here, to take a look at the suit and maybe discuss it, because I believe that there are ways to resolve my concerns outside of court. That is, I think that the law can be amended or whatever, but I had to file the suit to put the right focus and attention. Also, I didn't want to file a last-minute suit right before the election and cause disruption. I want to give it plenty of time. I've got some heavy-duty statistics. I've done a statistical study of our election trends, which I'll provide to the U.S. Justice Department on the Voting Rights Act issue if needed. And also, I have a fairly in-depth memo of points that I'll submit to the Election Commission and to others. On a final point, I find the practice of law to be very boring, but I'm a specialist in bureaucracy, so everything's boring. I'm not a lawyer, but I have a lot of experience working in these areas, and so I'm pursuing this is what's called a pro se, or I'm basically taking this on myself, which I've done successfully before. Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you, Dr. Mitch. Noted. Any further public comments? Next meeting,
October 16th, Thursday is the third Thursday in October. October
October
16th.
16th. Yeah.
1/6.
Is everybody going to be on island?
Are you going to, no? Oh.
Kind of far to plan, but
So you want to do it earlier?
the week, how about the week before?
Yeah, October 9th.
Yeah.
You're good for the night, Ricky, you're good for the night. Benny? The 9th?
October 9th?
Huh.
Okay, so we'll schedule the next meeting on Thursday, October 9th at 5:30. Right? Okay, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Moved by Commissioner Pinala, second by Commissioner Orsini. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting's adjourned. It is 6:03 p.m. I failed to mention that also present is Executive Director Maria Pangilinan and Legal Counsel Vince Camacho. And Pat Seville.
And Pat
Yeah.
Seville.